then Jeff, I will just need your signature at the bottom of this page. I think there's a couple more in there. That would be breakup papers.
Winter Arc 2024 is upon us, and these are the official Winter Arc 2024 rules that you need to be doing. Rule number 1, divorce, break up, or cut off any form of relationship.
Welcome back and welcome to your Winter Arc. If you have no idea what Winter Arc is, you are not alone, because I did not know until I saw this video blowing up last week, which explains that Winter Arc is a commitment that you make for the final 90 days of the years from October 1st through to January 1st. We're filming this after October 1st, so just know it's not too late. You can still jump in on this. But the whole idea is that this is a time of year where people typically slow down, they fall off with their goals. But no, we're gonna get a head start on our New Year's resolutions. Whenever I see a trend like this pop up, my first question is, what happens after the trend ends? Sure, you can commit and get disciplined, but what about lifestyle integration? What are we doing to make the habit stick? So today we are going to address some of the most popular Winter Arc rules, wellness trends, ask the stupid questions, potentially share some controversial opinions so that you can craft your perfect Winter Arc wellness routine. Last episode, we started the conversation discussing Pilates versus weightlifting. So if you missed that, definitely go back and watch it. But before we get going, let me know if you plan on getting a head start with the Winter Arc.
Yeah, so when it comes to discipline, I have my limits, and that limit for me is caffeine. It is the go-go just that makes productivity possible, and I will not be living without it. So if you are looking to level up your wellness routine without giving up caffeine, Peak's Sun Goddess Matcha may be just the swap you need. The combo of caffeine and L-theanine supports sustained energy without the jitters, crash, or anxiety you may experience with coffee. And because their matcha trees are shaded longer, they contain more chlorophyll and antioxidants, both of which help reduce inflammation and get your skin glowing. Sun Goddess Matcha is ceremonial grade and organic with a creamy umami flavor. Their pre-portioned packs make it easier than ever. These are great for at home or on the go. Just throw one in your purse. They can mix with hot or cold water. So if you want to learn more about Peak for yourself, they have that on offer for our community, where when you shop via my link, you can save up to 15% off your order, plus get a free beaker cup and rechargeable frother. So all that info will be in the description box down below.
Starting with sleep, how much sleep do you need, you personally?
I could function off 3, but to actually be useful,
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but 7 to 9 hours of sleep is still considered ideal. Obviously, that is not always practical. We will come back to that. But one thing I've seen a lot of people putting on their Winter Arc rules, goals lists is early morning wake up plus early morning sun exposure, which kind of do not go hand in hand at this time of year. I mean, unless you live near the equator or somewhere where the sun, maybe in Australia, I don't know, where the sun is still coming up early. Where we live, the sun is coming up later. It is not practical to wake up early and also get early morning sunlight exposure. I don't know what we're doing for that hour and a half or time in between, but coming back to why we want that sunlight exposure, it is because this can help support your circadian rhythm. Now, circadian rhythm is your body's internal clock. There are so many systems and so many processes that synchronize with this. Everything from when you are sleeping to your digestion, metabolism, hunger, heart rate. I mean, there's probably a million more I'm not thinking of. Now, the key to aligning your morning routine with your circadian rhythm is understanding this cortisol spike. Contrary to popular belief, cortisol is not always a bad thing at all. In order to live in alignment with your circadian rhythm, the goal is actually to have your cortisol increase and come to a peak early in the day, and then to gradually taper off later into the evening. Where cortisol becomes a bad thing is when it's constantly elevated, often as a result of your environment or your interaction with your environment. And as a result, that is going to affect your body's circadian rhythm, your internal scheduling and regulation of things. This is why you often see people who say, oh my gosh, my cortisol has been so elevated. There's all this inflammation in my body, my gut health, my digestion is suffering, my metabolism feels so slow. It's because all of it is connected. I feel like that meme of the guy, or is it the girl with all the things swirling around. There's two memes.
The blonde lady with the...
There's a blonde lady with the numbers around her, but then there's one, I think, from It's Always Sunny, and it's a guy with all the red tape on the board. We've never watched that show. Let us know if we should. So part of why sunlight exposure is so great is because it naturally supports the rising level of cortisol in your body. I have an article here. I don't know if it's accurate, but it says that morning sunlight exposure can increase cortisol levels by 50%, which is a good thing. A couple of problems though. So for one, we don't want cortisol to spike immediately upon waking. If cortisol is a hormone that helps you feel alert and awake and ready for the day, I'm going to guess that there's probably a few hours before you actually have to be focused on important things, whether that's work or school or whatever you're doing in the day. So we don't want our cortisol to spike right away. The other problem is that, yes, the days are getting shorter. If you are waking up at 5 or 6 a.m., there's probably going to be a couple hours before you're actually getting that full sun exposure. So how do we bridge that gap in between? How do we support the gradual rise in cortisol? And then how do we make sure that even if it is a cloudy day, we're still supporting that natural cycle in our body? Some people get the sunlight alarms or the sun lamps. I don't know if we actually have one of those. We have the Hatch Restore.
I feel like it's supposed to do that.
It's a little dome clock that looks like this. It's very aesthetic. It went viral online. We got one. We have yet to plug it in. Maybe we should.
Let's try it tonight.
But okay, if you're starting your morning at 5 or 6 a.m., we want to gradually ease into that increase in cortisol. So one of my favorite things to do to ease in is to start the morning with hydration. Hydration is not just drinking a lot of water. It is having fluids and electrolytes. So getting that going, that is going to help to replenish any of the water that you lost overnight if you were a mouth breather.
Like me.
Yeah, that was an unnecessary jab. But you do lose water overnight. So that's going to help kickstart that process. Being properly hydrated is going to support your brain functioning, your digestion, getting things moving. I also love that time of day if you have a simple skincare routine, or if you want to get some reflection, journaling, meditation. I'm not a big meditation girly. You can get, Jeff likes his fiber in the morning. I'm a fiber at night kind of girl. One of my favorite things about the early morning hours, especially since having a baby, is that it is uninterrupted time. There is no other noise. There are no other distractions. I find that once I kind of get over that initial grogginess of, walking downstairs and getting into the kitchen, that is when I do my best thinking. That is when I have the most clarity. That is when I'm able to just go on a creative riff, which is incredible. I mean, whatever you're working on, if you have a side hustle, I know some people during the winter arc are trying to get a side hustle going, trying to do a little something, but that is when I get big picture ideas. And that's when I reflect on them. That's when I do my visualization. It is a great time of day to do that. Once you've got that going, the gears are turning in your brain. I love to habit stack a workout into the morning routine. And this is where we may start to get into a little bit of, I don't know how to put it, like controversial opinion, controversial practice. I do my morning workouts fasted, and I don't even know why that has to be so controversial. I think part of we're always opening a can of worms. In the female fitness space, in recent years, there has been a lot of fear mongering over any sort of cortisol ever even existing in your body, which I know I have a bias against conversations like that because I hate any conversation or suggestion that women's bodies are fragile and we have to be dainty and we have to avoid any sort of stress ever. So you are just, it's just low impact and low intensity workouts for you. And you always have to be nibbling a little bit of something just in case there's a threat of cortisol. It is looming always. And if cortisol even looks at your body, forget about having a cycle. Forget about living past 30. It's over for you.
I feel like the same people saying that are the same people who are like, women really fade at 22. This is a can of worms. Maybe we'll talk about the cortisol thing in more depth in a future video. But I do my morning workouts fasted. There is also controversy around women and intermittent fasting. I think for a similar reason because of its impact on cortisol. But if it's low to moderate intensity training in the morning in a fasted state is probably not the worst thing. I am a big believer in fasting. Of trends in recent years, I think it is one of the best things, especially somebody who has struggled with my gut health. It has been incredible for giving my digestion just a little bit of extra time to get things going, especially if you're starting your morning with some hydration. I find it incredible for reducing inflammation. It has also been great for my morning clarity and focus and just feeling, I don't know if light is a bad word. I don't know if that's a banned word, but I can enter my day feeling, what's the big word here? Like unencumbered. Is that a word? Is that a word?
Unencumbered is a great word.
Unencumbered is a word?
I didn't even know you knew that.
There's so many benefits to fasting, and they are not exclusive to men. Of course, I encourage you to experiment and find what feels good for your body, but especially doing a low to moderate intensity workout in the morning. Beautiful, because you can get it done uninterrupted. There are no other distractions that are pulling you away. You don't even have to put your phone on airplane or do not disturb mode. Nobody's texting you. Nobody's texting you at 5 or 6 a.m. Plus, by staying fasted, that's going to help improve your insulin sensitivity naturally. It is going to help give you a kickstart on digestion. We know that moderate intensity activity is incredible for supporting your motility. I want the girls getting that number 2 as part of their morning routine. I feel better when I start my day with that, unencumbered.
Can I just
You want to interject?
I'd like to jump back to that thing where you were talking about, like, you know, they say women shouldn't have any problem, no cortisol at all.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess most of the people writing these opinions are guys.
Can I also add, Jeff is not on social media. Like so this is raw. This is him coming in raw on this conversation.
Is it guys? Because
it is not guys.
I can speak at, it's not. Because I was gonna say, in my mind when you're talking about that, I'm thinking about the Instagram booty growth trainer guys, right? And they're always guys.
Full body roll.
But
roll out of my seat.
My thought was like, I was like, oh, this is just guys not understanding women's hormones and being afraid of women's hormones.
Okay, so I do think this is here we are going back to my like red line spider chart of where I think that trend came from and the fear around women and cortisol. But I think you fear women with cortisol. Yeah, I mean, valid. Honestly, the past few weeks have been a little spicy, but I think part of it, and you saw me experience this firsthand, a lot of women who bought into, I don't know if you want to call it gym culture or fitness culture entirely, and the more is better mentality. So they ended up in a place where they were doing a lot of workouts each week. They were maybe incorporating high intensity interval training, like HIIT training, as part of their weightlifting. They were just burning the candle at both ends. And they got to a place where they felt like the harder they worked, the less results they got. You saw me go through this. I
have to do my morning cardio, then my morning workout, then I have to do my nighttime stair climb.
You saw me experience this firsthand when I was struggling on my weight loss journey. And then when I was just like done, so over, I'm like, you know what? We need to scale this back, partially because that's really the only option I have left, but also just I'm burnt out. And that's when the weight started coming off. I think it's easy for a lot of women to make that correlation of okay. That's Jeff is really, you're losing the plot, sir. We got an agenda to keep here. It's easy to make that correlation of, okay, it's only when I actually scaled back and relaxed a little bit that I felt more in tune with my body. And because I felt more in tune with my body, I was able to continue down a path that suited me and allowed me to get the results that I wanted. And hey, that makes sense. I believe you should do whatever feels good for your body. Where we get into a tricky area or a standoff is when we start with the fear mongering and we start drawing conclusions of, well, because an insane amount of cortisol can make you not feel good in your body, we should just avoid cortisol entirely, which no, cortisol is a part of our reality. Reeling it back in, we are now at, let's say we had 5 to 5:30. That was your easing in, creative thought, hydration, maybe a little bit of skincare routine. Let's say that was 5:30. Then let's say from 5:30 to 6:30. Let's say we had a little buffer time. We lagged a little bit. Maybe you spend a little time scrolling and sitting on the toilet or cleaning your ears. That's what I do. I kind of get lost there. Let's say we arrive at 7 a.m. It's now 7 a.m. We're starting to get a hint, a little sprinkle of sunshine. The sun exists. It's coming over the horizon. That might be closer to when you should start having some caffeine, right? I think caffeine is a tool. It is not something that we want to abuse or over rely on because you can develop a tolerance to it. I've been in that place before. I have had an insane caffeine tolerance. And caffeine is not free. It has impacts on the rest of your body. It's going to raise your resting heart rate. It's going to affect your digestion. It can lead to inflammation in your body. So use it sparingly, but use it strategically. Once you've made it this far in your morning routine, you've been supporting that cortisol rise. Let's give it a little boost. Let's have some caffeine if that's something that you like as part of your morning routine. Now, the big question, what if you can't get 7 to 9 hours of sleep?
You die.
You die. Yeah, exactly. So let's take a walk down memory lane. We had Sweet Bean. I had Sweet Bean. Let's be honest. I had Sweet Bean.
I didn't.
You did not. You were not pregnant. I had Sweet Bean about 2 years ago this week. And early in our parenthood journey, there was, I wouldn't even say there wasn't a lot of sleep. The quality of sleep was terrible. It was inconsistent and there was no routine at any point in our day.
I slept fine.
Yes, you slept fine. I did the breastfeeding. I did the nighttime wake ups. I don't resent it. I think we will touch on that probably in an upcoming video. I am planning on doing a 2 years
I wasn't a deadbeat. I did all the
You did everything during the day because I was okay. We'll come back to that.
If one of you is going to be forced to be up, you may as well not have both so that one person can function.
That was our choice. Yeah. I have been blessed with a baby that sleeps most nights ever since she was, I don't even know what age, but since she went to the crib, she sleeps through
6 months
most of the night, since about 6 months. That might be lying, but I feel incredibly lucky to have that. The hardest part of having a newborn baby, being a new parent, for me at least, was that not only was I lacking on quantity of sleep, but also quality of sleep. I was constantly having interrupted night sleeps. I was never getting into that deep sleep. And even when I was sleeping, I wasn't in deep sleep because I was anxious. I was worried about, is she breathing? And then I'd get into my head and I'd have to wake up and I'd have to check if she was breathing. And because I was exhausted and delusional, I'd convince myself that I couldn't feel her breathing. So I'd start touching her and then I'd wake her up and then, we'd begin the cycle again. So if you're a new parent and you're going through that, all I can say is thoughts and prayers. This too shall pass. Hopefully you're not a new parent. And if you're not, lucky for you, even if you can't get that 7 to 9 hours, you can focus on quality of sleep. You can look up charts for circadian rhythm online. There are all kinds of processes in your body from, like I said, digestion, body temperature, light exposure. You can do things in your environment to set yourself up for success. Small, simple changes.
Find the right pillow.
Find the right pillow. Change your thermostat. Make it colder. You think it's cool? Make it colder. Blackout. That's Jeff's motto. Our house is very cold. Blackout blinds for your bedroom. If you can't get those, if you're just having trouble getting out the light, get a sleep mask. I have tried pretty much every sleep mask on the market. I'll put the one I use down below. Maybe we need to do a full review. White noise. Put on a fan. Get pajamas that are not going to make you sweat. Don't eat immediately before bed. If you need to have a nighttime snack, choose something light that's easy to digest. There's so many little changes that you can make that are going to allow you to have a better night's sleep, even if it's not a full night's sleep. And something I think you were mentioning earlier at those times that you've been running on less sleep.
Yeah, just waking up at the same time.
Yeah. Having the same time that you're going to bed and that you're waking up in the morning, even if you are going to bed super late, make your peace. Don't make the same mistake I used to make where I would not be able to sleep because I was stressed, and then I would be stressed about not sleeping, and then you create this feedback loop of just feeling like garbage because you're more and more stressed. You're getting less and less sleep and you're not actually fixing anything. Moving on to the workouts. A lot of the winter art goals I've seen have somewhere between 5, 6, or 7 workouts per week, which I think I love the commitment to activity. Okay. I love anything that gets you moving daily.
That's such a setup for failure for me.
Okay. So my question, whenever you're setting, honestly, any type of goal, I know it's so cliche. We've heard it a million times. You want to set SMART goals. I don't even remember the acronym. I know the first one stands for specific. So getting specific, what are you doing for 5, 6, even 7 days per week? How are you setting yourself up for success? Are you pre-committing to habit stacking that workout into your morning routine? And if you are, is that style and intensity and volume of workout compatible with being done as part of your morning routine? You don't want to be doing a really hard workout, like let's say a half marathon speed workout fasted in the morning. What happens if you miss a session? Are you doubling up the next day? But wait, we're training 5, 6, 7 days per week. If you double up on one day, that's going to require additional recovery. That's going to carry over into the following day. So if you're not falling off track tomorrow, is it going to be the next day? Are we going to spiral? Is this going to become an all or nothing? Are we going to fall off track completely?
The snowball off track would be me.
The snowball off track, right? I mean, I get that these aren't fun questions, but these are all questions you should be asking. What is your contingency plan? How is this going to work in practicality? Because intentional movement, intentional training requires discipline. And no matter how many inspirational videos you watch, no matter how great you believe you are, and I think you're great too, but discipline, motivation will fade, especially over the course of, a time frame like 3 months. That's not a short amount of time.
Well, what do you do on January 1st?
Right. How are we just going to replenish the discipline bank? Does it just roll over on the calendar year? In the scheme of things, discipline will be short-lived. And so we come back to the point that I made at the start. What about lifestyle integration? Lifestyle integration is the single most important consideration for any fitness goal that you are setting. Now, different people are coming at this from different angles. Some people are taking these final 3 months of the year to kickstart a muscle building or bulking phase, trying to healthily gain weight. Other people are taking this time to tone up, get shredded, get lean, get that body recomp process going. But I think regardless of your goal, having at least an awareness around your metabolism is always important. And one thing I consistently see overlooked in the fitness space is that intentional activity, the workouts you do, don't account for that much of your total energy expenditure. And I know another thing people, especially in the weightlifting space, always love to jump in with, oh, but building muscle is going to increase my metabolism so much. I forget the stat right now. I'll put the actual number on screen, but it is negligible. It is negligible when you consider the amount of muscle mass that you might build naturally, especially, unfortunately, I'm sorry, but as a woman, it is not going to affect your metabolism that much. It's going to affect your shape more than anything. It's going to affect how you carry fat on your body. But if you really want to get to a place where you have a robust, a strong, a healthy metabolism, it is going to come down to lifestyle activity, to that non-exercise activity, thermogenesis, NEAT. I feel like everybody has a different definition of this. The way that I like to define it and the way that covers the most basis for me is any form of movement you do without the express purpose of training. The way I often see NEAT explained is as any form of unintentional movement. So an example would be fidgeting, but it also encompasses people who have jobs that involve a lot of manual labor. So let's say you work on a farm, in construction, in some form of caregiving, where a lot of your day is spent moving around. That isn't unintentional movement. It's just movement done without the express purpose being exercise. It has another purpose. And so that's why I don't always agree with maybe the more common definition. And so assuming you're not going to change professions over the course of the next 3 months, maybe you will, maybe you're taking this very, very seriously. I think the most practical way to increase your NEAT is to get into an active hobby. Obviously, running has been the most popular hobby of the past year and a bit, but there are other hobbies out there, and not all of them are expensive. You can get into pickleball, swimming. I have a friend who did her first triathlon not too long ago, and she had been doing the open swim, but she learned about, you sign up for it just as you would when you were a kid, swimming lessons, but not quite. It's basically a hour time slot where they have the lanes open, but they also have a swim instructor who can give you feedback on your form and technique, can help you swim more efficiently. They do some drills, they do a workout together. You get to do it in a group setting. There's accountability. Pick up swimming, get into cycling, I want to see more golf girlies. So much of the winter arc focuses on non-negotiables, which I do understand through the lens of developing a new routine. It can be helpful to put boundaries on what you're doing so that when you have to make those snap decisions, you can understand what is the priority. But especially when it comes to something like workouts, where there are more variables involved. There's your recovery, there's your energy, there's so many things that can change day to day. I believe in having big negotiables, which is why I will continue to be a broken record for full body training 3 times per week. The beauty of this schedule is that in an ideal world, you're going to hit those full body workouts Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You have a day of recovery in between. You have 2 days off on the weekend. Ideally, on those days in between, you're going to be staying active. That is where I'd put the hobbies. That is where I'd put my daily movement. That is where I would put the rest, right? But that is the schedule that has served me so well through my weight loss journey, through my postpartum journey. I know some of you have requested a more in-depth video on why full body training, why 3 times per week. And I mean, it is simple. It can be explained very simply. It's doable. And because it's doable, you will stick with it consistently. And that consistency will get you a long way. If you were to ask me on a deeper level, compressing the experience of the past like 6, 7, 8, I don't even know how many years it's been, into one video is a little bit overwhelming. And compressing the experience of everyone in our app community into one video, if you have made the switch to full body training, if you have joined me in the Team Plans app, I would love to hear about your experience in the comments down below, because it is a simple switch, but it truly is life-changing. One very obvious obstacle that comes to mind is that we are literally entering holiday season. You've got Canadian Thanksgiving, Halloween, American Thanksgiving, Christmas, social gatherings, family gatherings, parties in between. How are you going to stick to your exact workout schedule? Is it going to be doable to hit those 5, 6, 7 workouts per week? And even if it is doable within your schedule from a time perspective, are you going to have access to everything you need? If you are traveling, are you going to be able to get in whatever workout you're planning on doing? This is why I'm asking those unsexy questions and kind of pressing back on some of the goals that I am seeing online, because even if your answer is still yes, at what cost? Are you isolating yourself? Are you considering friendships, family to be distractions? I mean, that is very far from sustainable. Jeff is reflecting. Yes, the holidays are challenging, but I think they're also the perfect test to see if your routine will hold up to life happening. The solution I've seen presented online so far is really just eliminate distractions. Don't go to the social gathering. But again, we arrive at a place where, are you going to resent the things that make you happy? And how long do you actually want to be living with that kind of routine? Nutrition is a whole other huge topic that we could get into. I don't think for this video, this is getting a little bit long, but if there are nutrition habits that you want us to cover in an upcoming video, nutrition, supplement, hydration trends, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm curious about the winter arc. I won't say I have a big long list of rules that I'm going to be following. I know one thing I am definitely going to be working on is reestablishing my morning routine, because I will be honest, I have fallen off a bit the past few weeks, as well as I want to make breath work a bigger part of my daily routine. I haven't decided where in the routine, if that's a morning thing or an evening thing. But for digestion, for my pelvic and core health, I really want to get more into that. I know Jeff has got some goals of his own going into his winter, not fill-in, but winter Jeff arc.
The winter arc seems like a net positive.
I think it's a net positive.
People are thinking about it in the right way.
If you go in with your eyes open, and if you go in with seeing the holidays as an opportunity rather than an obstacle to your success, this is the litmus test. Is this routine going to work, or is it going to fail? And how do I need to adapt to make sure this routine will hold up once we get to the new year?
Because the main issue I'm seeing with it is that it seems really isolationist.
Yes.
And so you're taking out the ability to adapt around anyone else.
Anyone or anything.
Anyone or anything that comes into your life is going to change your schedule. And if you can adapt to that, then it sounds like a really good thing to start just focusing you. But if you can't adapt to that and your personality isn't working with it and you're just focusing on looking good,
right,
it's probably something that'll fail.
And I think too, like I always love to believe that this could be the turning point. I feel that way about so many things in life. Jeff knows this. I always like to believe, when I'm struggling, this could be the hardest day. We're just at the peak of the mountain now. And so I think something like a winter arc can be a great way to kickstart a new routine, as long as you're going into it, again, with your eyes open and with that awareness around every time you reach an obstacle or a challenge to your routine, that is a learning opportunity. It is not, oh, I need to cut that thing out of my life. That's not practical ongoing. And even if it is practical for you, once you get that success that you think you want, who/what are you going to enjoy it with? Right? Then you're going to have to rebuild the rest of your life. There are many people who stay stuck in the cycle of always having to rely on things like the new year, like the winter arc, like other intense extreme challenges like 75 hard to maintain. I don't even want to call it maintain, but to live this fitness lifestyle. I mean, I think the ultimate goal is to be able to instinctively and intuitively maintain a body, maintain a routine that feels good and supports you. So if winter arc is something you're using to refocus, to realign, I say big thumbs up. If you're out here being wild and crazy, shaving your head because hair is a distraction, which, you know what, I have been there, but maybe like reevaluate. Do you have any goals you want to share?
Yeah, just find a new routine.
We're both on that morning routine grind. Hold us accountable, please. So if you have any goals for the winter arc, definitely let us know. If there are any nutrition, supplement habits and trends you want reviewed in the next video, also let me know. I think our next one will be my 2 years postpartum update, but the one after that will be coming back to these wellness trends. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.